About Hindu Raj or Hindu Rashtra, Dr. Ambedkar said this in his book Pakistan or the Partition of India, Volume 8. If Hindu Raj does become a fact, it will no doubt be the greatest calamity for this country. No matter what the Hindus say, Hinduism is a menace to liberty, equality, and fraternity. On that account, it is incompatible with democracy. Hindu Raj must be prevented at any cost. Here, Mr. Vinod says Ambedkar failed to understand the concept of Dvija even after reading the translations for 15 years and concluding Ambedkar is stupid to burn Manusmriti.
Dear viewers of Gnani's World, before moving to why Ambedkar burned Manusmriti, let us put some interesting points in front of you. As we already made a point about caste system is mentioned in their Hindu scriptures and practiced in India before Britishers came. And Max Muller translations are based on works of Sayana Acharya. Still, some kids not understanding the core argument made some refutations with strawman argument. Our points of argument are clear. 1. Caste system or discrimination is very much there in India before Britishers or any other invader arrived. For this, we have given evidences from Hindu scriptures which are written before any invasion happened. Caste or Varna is not changeable in this life and is by birth and is based on the result of karma did in the past life. 3. Max Muller translations are of not his own. 4. Dvija means second born, is only by Upanayana ceremony and is available for only 3 Varnas, and Shudra is excluded from this. Dear viewers of Gnani's World, instead of refuting our core arguments, one kid in his refutation video said we have taken from Muslim blog who support Pakistan and Christian blogs whom Ambedkar rejected.
Namaskar. Welcome to Gnani's World. In this video, again we'll be exposing the lies of Mr. Vinod from String YouTube channel. Please watch a clip from his video titled Why Ambedkar Tore Manusmriti.
Yes, this happened. But linking this to our culture, Vedas, Upanishads and other holy scriptures is a pure propaganda and stupidity, nothing else. When Ambedkar did that, he burnt Manusmriti. You understand what kind of a person he is?
Hey, you stupid. What is your qualification to call him an idiot? Ambedkar had many degrees. How dare you question his credibility?
I agree that he has so many degrees, he was highly educated and I'll never ever reach his level in his field, but according to your bullshit logic.
Dear viewers of Gnani's World, by watching this clip, hope you understood the conspiracy of the WhatsApp University graduated Hindutva Sanghi fanatic Mr. Vinod from String YouTube channel. Instead of apologizing for the atrocities held by their ancestors on Shudras and outcast people, this Hindutva Sanghi fanatic is trying to whitewash by putting the blame on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Here, Mr. Vinod says Ambedkar failed to understand the concept of Dvija even after reading the translations for 15 years and concluding Ambedkar is stupid to burn Manusmriti.
Dear viewers of Gnani's World, before moving to why Ambedkar burned Manusmriti, let us put some interesting points in front of you. As we already made a point about caste system is mentioned in their Hindu scriptures and practiced in India before Britishers came. And Max Muller translations are based on works of Sayana Acharya. Still, some kids not understanding the core argument made some refutations with strawman argument. Our points of argument are clear. 1. Caste system or discrimination is very much there in India before Britishers or any other invader arrived. For this, we have given evidences from Hindu scriptures which are written before any invasion happened. 2. Caste or Varna is not changeable in this life and is by birth and is based on the result of karma did in the past life. 3. Max Muller translations are of not his own. 4. Dvija means second born, is only by Upanayana ceremony and is available for only 3 Varnas, and Shudra is excluded from this. Dear viewers of Gnani's World, instead of refuting our core arguments, One kid in his refutation video said we have taken from Muslim blog who support Pakistan and Christian blogs whom Ambedkar rejected. So the content has no validity and made strawman argument to prove us wrong. And the one who watched his video commented like this. He busted your video and exposed you. Considering him as an immature, we neglect. But first, everyone should have knowledge of strawman argument. For that, we are playing a small video clip for better understanding.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, लॉजिकली सोचना, लॉजिकल बातें करना, लॉजिक का अपनी जिंदगी में ज्यादा इस्तेमाल करना, ये एक ऐसी चीज है जो सीखी जा सकती है प्रैक्टिस के साथ। आज इस वीडियो में आकाश बैनर्जी और मैं आपको यही सिखाना चाहेंगे एक लॉजिकल फैलेसीज के थ्रू। लॉजिकल फैलेसीज क्या होती हैं? ये बेसिकली फ्लॉज होते हैं रीजनिंग में, लॉजिकली इनकरेक्ट आर्ग्यूमेंट्स होती हैं जिनका पॉलिटिशियंस और मीडिया हाउसेस बहुत इस्तेमाल करते हैं आप लोगों को बेवकूफ बनाने के लिए। इनका बेसिकली इस्तेमाल किया जा सकता है आप लोगों को बेवकूफ बनाने के लिए। हम इन चीजों को आपको समझाएंगे एक डिबेट के थ्रू, लेकिन ये डिबेट आकाश बैनर्जी के साथ नहीं होगी बल्कि भक्त बैनर्जी के साथ होगी। यहाँ पर
चलिए मेरी घर वापसी कर दीजिए।
चलिए।
हाँ जी, नमस्कार नमस्कार। ध्रुव जी कैसे हैं?
मैं बढ़िया, आप बताइए।
बहुत सुना है आपके बारे में, हैं? बहुत कुछ सवाल हैं आपके दिमाग में।
हाँ,
ये देखें।
पहले तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे साथ इस डिबेट पे आने के लिए, डिबेट करने के लिए एक्चुअली। तो भक्त बैनर्जी, मैंने सुना है आप मोदी जी के बहुत बड़े फैन हैं।
बिल्कुल हैं, आपको भी होना चाहिए।
तो अब ये बताइए, मेरे सवाल कुछ उन्हीं से ही रिलेटेड होंगे यहाँ पर। मोदी जी ने, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने आज तक एक भी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस नहीं दी है जब से वो प्रधानमंत्री जी बने हैं। इंटरव्यू जो वो देते हैं वो ऐसे स्क्रिप्टेड से होते हैं कि एक काउंटर क्वेश्चन तक नहीं पूछा जाता उनसे। तो आप बताइए, क्या हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी को डर लगता है? क्या मोदी जी को डर लगता है? क्या हमारे देश को ऐसा प्रधानमंत्री चाहिए जो अकाउंटेबल ही नहीं है?
देखिए, बहुत दुख लगता है ऐसे सवाल आप जब करते हो ना। मैं एक खुले मन से आया था आपके पास। आपने पहला ही सवाल में ऐसे बातें करने अगर लगेंगे कि हमारे प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी को डर लगता है। अरे पाकिस्तान को धूल चटा दिया। उरी पिक्चर देख लेना अगर अभी तक समझ में नहीं आया सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक में क्या हुआ था। और जहां तक रही अकाउंटेबिलिटी की बात है, अरे मीडिया के सवालों का जवाब दे कि क्या ऐसा मिल जाएगा? तुम लोग इतना अपने आप को इंपॉर्टेंट क्यों समझते हो? हैं? मंगल ग्रह का आदमी क्या प्लूटो में रहने लग जाएगा? हैं? क्या गोभी खुल जाएगा अगर तुम्हारे 10 सवालों के जवाब हुए? देश की प्रगति देखो।
यहां पर आती है दोस्तों सबसे पहली लॉजिकल फैलेसी जिसका बीबी जी ने इस्तेमाल किया, स्ट्रॉमैन आर्ग्यूमेंट। स्ट्रॉमैन आर्ग्यूमेंट एक ऐसी लॉजिकल फैलेसी है जिसमें आप दूसरे की आर्ग्यूमेंट को इस तरह से मिस रिप्रेजेंट करते हो कि उसका काउंटर करना आसान हो जाए। मिस रिप्रेजेंट करने के काफी तरीके हो सकते हैं। आप ओवर सिंप्लीफाई कर सकते हो दूसरे की आर्ग्यूमेंट को, एग्जैजरेट कर सकते हो दूसरे की आर्ग्यूमेंट को, या दूसरे की आर्ग्यूमेंट को आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट ले जा सकते हो। अब यहां पर बीबी जी ने क्या किया? मैंने बोला कि मोदी जी को डर लगता है क्या सवालों के जवाब देने से। बीबी जी ने मेरी आर्ग्यूमेंट को ओवर सिंप्लीफाई करके ये समझ लिया कि मैं कह रहा हूं मोदी जी को डर लगता है। तो उन्होंने जवाब क्या दिया कि नहीं, मोदी जी को डर नहीं लगता क्योंकि देखो उन्होंने ये काम किए हैं यहाँ पर। जबकि ये तो बात हो ही नहीं रही थी, बात अकाउंटेबिलिटी की हो रही थी, मीडिया के सवाल पूछने की हो रही थी। एक स्ट्रॉमैन आर्ग्यूमेंट क्रिएट करना बहुत ही आसान है दोस्तों। इनफैक्ट टीवी डिबेट्स में आप देखेंगे लोग इसका इंटेंशनली और अनइंटेंशनली खुल के इस्तेमाल करते हैं। अगर आपके सामने वाले ने आपसे बहुत मुश्किल सवाल पूछा है जिसका आप जवाब नहीं दे पा रहे हैं, तो आप क्या करेंगे? उसके सवाल को एग्जैजरेट कीजिए, ओवर सिंप्लीफाई कीजिए या आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट ले जाइए और फिर जवाब दीजिए। इससे आप एक तरह से बाहर से देखने में लगेगा कि आपने जवाब तो दे दिया उसके सवाल का, लेकिन रियलिटी में आपने उसके एक्चुअल क्वेश्चन का जवाब नहीं दिया होगा। तो ये होता है दोस्तों स्ट्रॉमैन आर्ग्यूमेंट। इसे पहचानेंगे आप तो बहुत यूजफुल रहेगा आपके लिए, और फिर काउंटर करना भी आसान होगा आपके लिए।
देखिए बीबी जी, बात यहां पर अकाउंटेबिलिटी की हो रही है। मोदी जी सवालों से भागते हैं यहां पर। अब तो यह हालत हो गई है कि अपने खुद के बीजेपी के लीडर्स को भी वरना कम कर देते हैं।
So, dear viewers of Gnani's World, now you understand the point and how childish the refutation of kid is. Instead of refuting core arguments, he did strawman argument. Now also, we give one more chance to the kid to refute us point by point. And some other commented caste or varna is based on guna or nature of the individual, not by birth. And you rice bags don't understand Sanskrit and don't understand the actual concept of caste or varna system and so on. To these kind of comments, we decided not to respond but play some video clips of Puri Govardhan Mat Shankaracharya Nishchalanda Saraswati Ji Maharaj on जातियाँ जन्म से निर्धारक होती है या कर्म से? Is jati determined by birth or action?
कर्म के आधार पर बुरा मत मानना कोई। पुरुष की बात बाद में करूंगा। एक माता की दिन में कितनी जाति बदलनी चाहिए बताओ? बच्चे के मलमूत्र से परहेज करेगी माँ तो माँ कही जाएगी नहीं ना। एक स्त्री को ले लीजिए, पतिव्रता है, सती है, साध्वी है, पुत्रवत्सला है। एक स्त्री की जाति कर्म के आधार पर एक दिन में कितनी बदलेगी? समझ गए? रसोई एक स्त्री, अच्छा एक पुरुष की बात ले लीजिए, कर्म के आधार पर एक पुरुष की एक दिन में कितनी जाति बदलेगी? तो ब्राह्मण कुल कोई बचेगा क्या? एक दिन में जब 10 जाति बदल जाती है कर्म के आधार पर, क्या कर्म के आधार पर एक दिन में 10 प्रकार की जाति बदल जाती है, तो ब्राह्मण कुल, क्षत्रिय कुल, वैश्य कुल, शूद्र कुल कैसे चलेगा? कुलीनता तो लुप्त हो जाएगी। दूसरी बात क्या है, किस कर्म में कोई आजकल गलत पढ़ाया जाता समाजशास्त्र में, अधिकार की सीमा में जो कार्य होता है उसका नाम कर्तव्य होता है, दायित्व। यानी जो जिस प्रकार का काम कर ले उसके आधार पर, कर्म के आधार पर अधिकार चलता है या अधिकार के आधार पर कर्म चलता है? अभी बात समझ में नहीं आई होगी। ट्रैफिक मैन वहाँ अधिकृत है, हाथ दिखाने, अधिकृत है तब वो हाथ दिखाता है, तो नहीं तो विक्षिप्त गिना जाएगा। समझ गए? अधिकृत है व्यक्ति सामने क्या फायरिंग करने में, तब वो अधिकृत माना जाएगा, नहीं तो फिर डाकू या कुछ और माना जाएगा, अराजक माना जाएगा। समझ गए? यहाँ तक कि 25 न्यायाधीश हैं, जिस केस में जो न्यायाधीश नियुक्त है और अपनी गद्दी पर बैठकर जब वो न्याय देगा तब वो न्याय माना जाएगा। इसी प्रकार से हमने संकेत किया, पूर्व कर्म, समझ गए? पूर्व कर्म जब फल देने के लिए उदित होता है, उस कर्म के अनुसार जाति का निर्णय होता है। जाति का अर्थ होता है जन्म। पूर्व कर्मानुसार जो जन्म हो गया ना, उसी का नाम है जाति। अब सोने में सुगंध क्या है? जिस जाति में जन्म हुआ हो, उस जाति के अनुकूल कर्म करता हो, तब क्या हो गया? सोने में सुगंध। अच्छा गाय, पहले मनुष्यों की बात छोड़ दो, गाय को आप जन्म से गाय मानोगे या कर्म से? हाँ नहीं, यहाँ यही बहुत बढ़िया बात है। शेर को आप जन्म से शेर मानोगे? शेर अगर खूंखार भी ना हो तो उसको शेर मानोगे या नहीं? अच्छा बंदर को, हमें गधा क्यों कहूँ, गधा को, इन सबको तो आप वृक्ष को कब मानोगे? वृक्ष आप जन्म से मानते हैं। अच्छा पुलिस ने अपराध किया, पुलिस होते हुए इसने रक्षा में सेंध मार दी, दंड का विधान कैसे होगा? अभी क्या दंड का विधान कैसे होगा? पुलिस होकर इसने डाका डाला, डाकुओं का साथ दिया, ब्राह्मण होकर के इसने ऐसा काम किया, इसलिए अपराध की बात तो भी तभी चलती है। इसलिए जन्म से जाती है। यहाँ तक कि आज समाजी क्या कहते हैं, यहीं पर जाकर समाजी हार जाते हैं। शास्त्रों में लिखा है कि 8 साल ब्राह्मण कुल में जिसका जन्म हुआ हो, बालक हो, 8 साल की आयु में उसका यज्ञोपवीत करावे। अब आज समाजी को अर्थ क्या करना पड़ेगा? जिसके गले में 8 साल में जनेऊ डाल दिया जाए वो ब्राह्मण। उल्टा होगा ना, उद्देश्य विधेय हो जाएगा, विधेय उद्देश्य हो जाएगा। समझ गए? 11 साल की आयु में क्षत्रिय बालक का यज्ञोपवीत होना चाहिए, 11 से 22 तक, 8 से 16। अब जिसके गले में 11 साल की अवस्था में जनेऊ डाल दिया गया उसको क्षत्रिय कहना पड़ना। क्षत्रिय तो पहले से सिद्ध है। समझ गए? क्षत्रिय पहले से है, 8 साल की आयु, 11 साल की आयु में, वैश्य पहले से है तो 12 साल की, नहीं तो उल्टी गंगा बहानी पड़ेगी। 12 साल की आयु में किसी के गले में जनेऊ डाल दो, हो गया वैश्य। ये सब नहीं, इसलिए कुलीनता फिर क्या, कुल परंपरा का ही लोप हो जाएगा, विवाह की प्रथा का भी लोप हो जाएगा, वर्ण संकर सब हो जाएंगे, कर्ण संकर हो जाएंगे। इसलिए एक बात मैं कह देता हूँ आप अभी युवा को, जिनके यहाँ स्थिर वर्ण व्यवस्था नहीं है, परंपरा से जिनकी वर्ण व्यवस्था टूट गई सैकड़ों वर्ष पूर्व। कैसे टूट गई? सनकैस्तु क्रियालोपात ब्राह्मणा दर्शनेन च भारतवर्ष नेपाल आदि सब को छोड़कर सुदूर चले गए, वहीं बस गए। यहाँ के ब्राह्मणों से, आचार्यों से संपर्क टूट गया, वो म्लेच्छ हो गए।
So, dear viewers of Gnani's World, the one who abused us and commented against us out of hate should first refute this Puri Govardhan Mat Shankaracharya Nishchalananda Saraswati Ji Maharaj. So, now coming to the actual topic, why Ambedkar burned Manusmriti. Stooge Mr. Vinod from String YouTube channel failed to put forth the actual struggle happened between Brahmanism and Dalits, but abused and maligned the character of Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar. On 25th of December, Christmas is celebrated all over the Christian world as the birth of Jesus Christ. But for the whole world of Dalits, it is an important day as Manusmriti Dahan Din. As it was on this day in 1927 that Manusmriti was publicly burnt by Dr. Ambedkar during the Mahasangarsha of Mahat Satyagraha, and is an important milestone in Dalit struggle against Brahmanism. Let us all remember this with pride. Watch video Dr. Ambedkar burnt Manusmriti, Book of Inequality in 1927.
This conference that has been called to inaugurate an era of equality in India has no parallel in Indian history. I can only compare this to a meeting held in France in 1789 that ushered the French Revolution. Our conference is the beginning of such a social revolution in India. We are here to declare a war. Our goal is not only the abolition of untouchability, but a war against the caste system itself. We will not be immortalized by drinking water from the tank, but this, our action, will prove that we are also human beings. We must establish the principle that status in India shall not be determined by birth, but by merit alone. We must rearrange Indian society on the principles of a casteless, classless society. We must adopt the principle that all men are born equal and die equal. Let's destroy the authority of the ancient Hindu scriptures that abound in inequality. Brothers and sisters, religion and slavery are not compatible.
Brothers and sisters, even though I am a Brahmin by birth, I condemn outright the doctrines of the Manusmriti. It is a symbol not of religion, but of inequality, cruelty and injustice. I move a resolution that the Manusmriti, which has been the cause of untold sufferings for the generations, be publicly burned. क्षुद्रतु कार्ये दास्यं कृतभकृतमेव वा दास्यायौ हि सृष्टोऽसौ ब्राह्मण्यास्य स्वयंभुव वैश्य शूद्रो प्रयत्नेन स्वानि कर्माणि कारयेत् सौ हि जितो स्वकर्मभ्य क्षोभयेतामिदं जगत् न स्वामिना निसृष्टोऽपि शूद्रा दास्याद् विमुच्यते निसर्गजं हिततस्य कस्तस्मात् दपोहति.
Manuwadis had arranged that Ambedkar does not get a ground for meeting, but a Muslim gentleman, Mr. Fateh Khan, gave his private land. They had arranged that no supplies of food, water or anything else could be bought, so everything was bought from outside by our men. The volunteers had to take a vow of 5 items. 1. I do not believe on Chaturvarna based on birth. 2. I do not believe in caste distinctions. 3. I believe that untouchability is an anathema on Hinduism and I'll honestly try my best to completely destroy it. 4. Considering that there is no inequality, I'll not follow any restrictions about food and drink among at least all Hindus. 5. I believe that untouchables must have equal rights in temples, water sources, schools, and other amenities. Dr. Ambedkar came from Bombay by boat Padmavati via Dasgaon port instead of Damthar, though it is longer distance because in the event of boycott by bus owners, they could walk down 5 miles to Mahad. Some people later tried to say that Dr. Ambedkar decided to burn Manusmriti at the 11th hour as he had to withdraw the program of drinking water from Chavadar tank under court order and persuasion by the collector. That is not true, because right in front of the pendal of the meeting, a Vedi was created beforehand to burn Manusmriti. 6 people were laboring for 2 days to prepare it. A pit 6 inches deep and 1.5 foot square was dug in and filled with sandalwood pieces. On its 4 corners, poles were erected bearing banners on 3 sides. Banners said 1. Manusmriti Chi Dahan Bhumi, that is crematorium of Manusmriti. 2. Destroy untouchability. And 3. Bury the Brahmanism. On 25th December 1927 at 9 pm, the book of Manusmriti was kept on this and burnt at the hands of Bapu Sahib Sahasrabuddhi and another 5-6 Dalit sadhus.
At the meeting, there was Baba Sahib's historical speech. The main points of speech are: we have to understand why we are prevented from drinking water from this tank. He explained Chaturvarna and declared that our struggle is to destroy the fetters of Chaturvarna. This was the starting point of the struggle for equality. He compared that meeting with the meeting of 24 January 1789, when Louis XVI of France has called a meeting of French people's representatives. This meeting killed king and queen, harassed and massacred the upper classes. Remaining were banished. Property of the rich was confiscated, and it started a 15-year-long civil war. People have not grasped the importance of this revolution. This revolution was the beginning of the prosperity of not only France but whole of Europe and has revolutionized the whole world. He explained French Revolution in detail. He then explained that our aim is not only to remove untouchability but to destroy Chaturvarna, as the root cause lies there. He explained how patricians deceived plebeians in the name of religion. The root of untouchability lies in prohibition of intercaste marriages that we have to break, he thundered.
He appealed to higher varnas to let this social revolution take place peacefully, discard the Shastras and accept the principle of justice, and he assured them peace from their side. 4 resolutions were passed and a declaration of equality was pronounced. After this, Manusmriti was burnt. There was a strong reaction in the Brahmanical press. Baba Sahib was called Bhimasura by one paper. Dr. Ambedkar justified the burning of Manusmriti in various articles. He ridiculed those people that they have not read the Manusmriti and declared that we will never accept it. For those who say it is an outdated booklet, so why give importance to it? He invited attention to atrocities on Dalits and said, "These are because Hindus are following this book."
And further asked, if it is outdated, how does it matter to you if somebody burns it? For those who inquire what is achieved by Dalits by burning it, he retorted, what Mahatma Gandhi achieved by burning foreign clothes, what was achieved by burning Dhyana Prakash, which published about marriage of Khan and Malini. What was achieved by those who burned Miss Mayo's book, Mother India in New York? What was achieved by boycotting Simon Commission formed to frame political reforms? These were the forms of registering the protests. So was ours against Manusmriti. We further declared that if unfortunately this burning of Manusmriti does not result in destruction of Brahmanya, we will have to either burn the Brahmanya-grast people that is affected by Brahmanism or renounce Hinduism. So, dear viewers of Gnani's World, as we all know later, he renounced Hinduism and he strongly opposed formation of Hindu Raj, for which all the Sanghi fanatics like Mr. Vinod of String YouTube channel and some other fanatic YouTubers preparing a ground with spreading communal hate with fake narratives. About Hindu Raj or Hindu Rashtra, Dr. Ambedkar said this in his book Pakistan or the Partition of India, Volume 8. If Hindu Raj does become a fact, it will no doubt be the greatest calamity for this country. No matter what the Hindus say, Hinduism is a menace to liberty, equality, and fraternity. On that account, it is incompatible with democracy. Hindu Raj must be prevented at any cost. Now, let us throw some light on the Manusmriti shlokas so that we can understand why Ambedkar is very much right in burning it and why Mr. Vinod is a stooge for abusing Ambedkar. Dear viewers of Gnani's World, actually RSS wants Manusmriti in place of the present constitution and using these kind of stooges to promote Manusmriti in positive note into public. The RSS believed that Manusmriti should be the basis of Indian constitution and called Dr. Ambedkar all kinds of names for not following the ancient text. Ramchandra Guha says a letter published in the RSS mouthpiece organizer on January 11, 1950 belittles Dr. Ambedkar by drawing an analogy with Lilliput. The letter states that Dr. Ambedkar cannot be called the modern Manu as it is an instance of depicting a Lilliput as a Brobdingnag. It borders on ridicule to put Dr. Ambedkar on par with the learned and godlike Manu. The Indian constitution, which is appreciated world over for its progressive content, was a disappointment for the RSS. The organizer had stated in the November 30, 1949 issue.
The worst about the new constitution of Bharat is that there is nothing Bharatiya about it. The drafters of the constitution have incorporated in it elements of British, American, Canadian, Swiss and sundry other constitutions. But there is no trace of ancient Bharatiya constitutional laws, institutions, nomenclature and phraseology in it. But in our constitution, there is no mention of the unique constitutional development in ancient Bharat. Manu's laws were written long before Lycurgus of Sparta or Solon of Persia. To this day, his laws as enunciated in the Manusmriti excite the admiration of the world and elicit spontaneous obedience and conformity. But to our constitutional pundits, that means nothing. While conservative Hindus see Manusmriti as a document that excites the admiration of the world, the laws of Manu really need to be examined to see what it has to say about women, the lower caste and the untouchables. The Manusmriti is a law book that prescribes rules and regulations for the four Varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, as well as the Varnas or the untouchables or the Chandalas. The book bestows privileges upon the Brahmin men, which is what the RSS leadership is made of. For women, lower caste and untouchables, there are no rights at all. The law book, which the RSS wants as the guiding document to run India, has certain prescriptions for the untouchable caste on what they can eat, what property they can own, what should be their clothing, and how and where they should live. Laws of Manu concerning Shudras. Manusmriti, chapter 1, verse 31. Creation of the Brahmana and other castes. With a view to the development of the three regions, he brought into existence the Brahmana, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya and the Shudra, from out of his mouth, arms, thighs and feet respectively. Manu writes that it was God who assigned specific professions to those who came out from his mouth, chest, thighs and feet. Manusmriti 1:87. For the preservation of all this creation, he of great effulgence laid down separate duties for those originations from his mouth, Brahmanas, from his arms, Kshatriyas, from his thighs, Vaishyas, and from his legs, Shudras. First, Brahmins originated from his mouth, Shudras from his feet, and then he gave them specific professions. In Manusmriti, Shudras and Chandalas are given capital punishment for committing certain crimes, whereas a Brahmin is given very less punishment, like paying fine or performing penance. Let's have a look at some more verses.
Manusmriti 8, 413 and 414. A Shudra, whether bought or unbought, must serve the Brahmin, a slave purchased or otherwise, must be employed in service, inasmuch as it is for serving the Brahmana that he has been created by the self-begotten one. Even set at liberty by his master, a Shudra cannot be liberated from service. Service is his occasion by nature. Who shall emancipate him from that? Manusmriti 8, 417. Let a Brahmana unhesitatingly appropriate to himself whatever his Shudra slave has earned, inasmuch as nothing can be belonged to the latter, he being himself an enjoyable good of the Brahmana. Manusmriti 10, 129. No collection of wealth must be made by a Shudra, even though he be able to do it, for a Shudra who has acquired wealth gives pain to Brahmanas. Manusmriti 8, 418. The king should carefully compel Vaishyas and Shudras to perform the work prescribed for them, for if these two castes swerved from their duties, they would throw this whole world into confusion. Manusmriti 8, 281 and 282. A low caste man who tries to place himself on the same seat with a man of high caste shall be branded on his hip and be banished, or the king shall cause his buttock to be gashed. If out of arrogance he spits on a superior, the king shall cause both his lips to be cut off. If he urines on him, the penis. If he breaks wind against him, the anus. Manusmriti 8, 279 and 280. With whatever limb a man of low caste does hurt to a man of 3 higher castes, even that limb shall be cut off. That is the teaching of Manu. He who raises his hand or a stick shall have his hand cut off. He who in anger kicks with his foot shall have his foot cut off. Manusmriti 4, 61. Let him, that is Brahmin, not dwell in a country where the rulers are Shudras. Manusmriti 4, 80. Let him, that is Brahmin, not give to a Shudra advice, nor the remnants of his meal, nor food offered to the gods, nor let him explain the sacred law to such a man, nor impose upon him a penance.
Manusmriti 11, 132. Having killed a cat, an ichneumon, a blue jay, a frog, a dog, an iguana, an owl or a crow, he, that's Brahmin, shall perform the penance for the murder of a Shudra.
As per Manu code, if Shudras are to be given more stringent punishments for even petty violations or actions, the same code of Manu is very lenient towards Brahmins. Shloka 380 in chapter 8 bestowing profound love on Brahmins decrees. Let him never slay a Brahmana, though he have committed all possible crimes. Let him banish such an offender, leaving all his property to him and his body unhurt. The level of cruel injustice directed towards the untouchables in the laws of Manusmriti can be seen in the Peshwa rule in Maharashtra, which has implemented most of the laws from Manusmriti. The untouchables had to carry a broomstick attached to their backs so that when they entered the city, their footprints would not pollute the path. They were forced to put a pot around their neck to carry their spit in the pot. They were not allowed to hold any arms, and education was completely barred. Untouchables were killed if they do not follow these restrictions.
For RSS, casteism is synonymous with Hindu nation. Faith of RSS, Brahmin Manusmriti, naturally leads them to believe in casteism too. For RSS, casteism is the essence of Hindu nationalism. Golwalkar did not mince words in declaring that casteism was synonymous with the Hindu nation. According to Golwalkar, Bunch of Thoughts, page 36 and 37. The Hindu people are no one else but. The Hindu people, they said, is the Virat Purusha, the Almighty manifesting himself. Though they did not use the word Hindu, it is clear from the following description of the Almighty in Purusha Sukta, wherein it is stated that the sun and the moon are his eyes, the stars and the skies are created from his nabi, that's navel, and Brahman is the head, Kshatriya the hands, Vaishya the thighs, and Shudra the feet, as per the original text. This means that the people who have this fourfold arrangements, that is, the Hindu people, is so a god. This supreme vision of Godhead is the very core of a concept of nation and has permeated our thinking and given rise to various unique concepts of a cultural heritage.
Dear viewers of Jnani's World, let us see the laws of Manu concerning women. No wonder, Manusmriti Dahan Din is also celebrated as Stri Mukti Din. Manusmriti restricts women from enjoying many rights such as education, independence. However, Manusmriti was unjust towards untouchables as well as women across castes. The evil practices like sati and child marriage are best example for this. Baba Saheb acknowledged that Manusmriti restricts women from enjoying many rights such as education, independence, inheritance of wealth, etc. The book defines a woman merely as a sex object who is always dependent on and is protected by her male counterpart from childhood to old age. Manusmriti also gave rights to the upper caste men to not only own but also sexually exploit the Shudra women. Manusmriti 9:2. During the day and the night, women should not be left to themselves by their men. If they become addicted to sensual objects, they should be kept under one's control.
Manusmriti 9:3. The father guards her during virginity, the husband guards her in youth, the son guards her in old age. The woman is never fit for independence.
Manusmriti 9:18. For women, there is no dealing with the sacred texts, such as the rule of law. The fact is that being destitute of organs and devoid of sacred texts, women are false. Manusmriti 2:13. It is the very nature of women to corrupt men. It is for this reason that the wise are never unguarded regarding women. Manusmriti 9:96. Women were created for the purpose of childbearing and men for the purpose of procreation. Hence it is that religious rites have been ordained in the Veda as common between the man and his wife. Reproduced parts of Manu Code need no further elaboration and commentary. They are too glaringly venomous, fascist, and degenerated against untouchables who are referred to as Shudras by Manu.
Perhaps this was the reason that the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who contributed immensely to the growth of totalitarian ideas in Europe in the 20th century, fell in love with this work. With the rise of the Hindutva politics in the Hindi heartland, there is a flood of low-priced editions of Manusmriti. In one of such editions by one of the biggest publishers of pocketbooks in Hindi, the back cover has the following glorification of Manusmriti. The Manusmriti is the oldest social system of the world, which establishes constitution and justice. Largely, the social and judicial systems of today's India are modeled after this book. It is an essential book for each family, organization and society. Manusmriti, Hindi, Sadhana, Delhi, 1999. Such publishers remain unconcerned about the poison and hatred which Manusmriti contains and conveys against the Shudras, untouchables and women. There seems to be an inherent relation between the mass publication of such books with increasing violence against the lower caste and women in the country and the rise of the Hindu rights. It is high time that the nation realizes that the RSS and the Hindu rights dream of recreating the golden past is fraught with the terrible dangers. Whatever it may be saying about the Muslim and Christian posing danger as minorities, it may end up depriving the Hindu Shudras and all women of all their human rights. Their love for the scriptures like Manusmriti only underlines the facts that the real targets are Shudras and the women of Hindu society. The story does not end with Manusmriti. The RSS bookstore stock and sale titles like How to Lead a Household Life by Swami Ram Sukdas, which openly preach violence. This title is part of low-priced anti-women literature published by Gita Press. Here is a glimpse from this book, which is in question-answer form and available in English, Hindi and other regional Indian languages. What should the wife do if her husband beats her and troubles her?
The wife should think that she is paying her debt of her previous life and thus her sins are being destroyed. And she is becoming pure. When her parents come to know this, they can take her to their own house because they have not given their daughter training to face this sort of bad behavior.
What should she do if her parents not take her to their own house?
Under such circumstances, what can the helpless wife do? She should reap the fruit of her past actions. She should patiently bear the beatings of her husband. By bearing them, she'll be freed from her sins, and it is possible that her husband may start loving her. Ramsukta Swami, How to Lead a Household Life, Gita Press, Gorakhpur, 1999, page 43.
There is blatant preaching in favor of inhuman sati, as we see in the following. Is sati prata, that's the tradition of the wife being cremated with the dead body of the husband on the funeral pyre, proper or improper?
A wife's cremation with the dead body of her husband on the funeral pyre is not a tradition. She, in whose mind truth and enthusiasm comes, burns even without fire, and she does not suffer any pain while she burns. This is not a tradition that she should do so, but this is her truth, righteousness, and faith in scriptural decorum. Dear viewers of Jnani's World, here it is to be noted that because of all this oppressive ideology in Manusmriti, a copy of Manusmriti was burnt as a protest in the presence of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar during historic Mahad agitation on December 25, 1927. And the Constitution of India, drafted by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and passed by the Constituent Assembly, is an antithesis to the Manusmriti. The Constitution of India recognizes everyone equal before the law, unlike Manusmriti. Article 14. The state shall not deny to any person equality before the law or the equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. Article 15. 1. The state shall not discriminate against any citizen on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them. 2. No citizen shall on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them be subject to any disability, liability, restriction, or condition with regard to A. Access to shops, public restaurants, hotels, and places of public entertainment, or B. The use of wells, tanks, bathing ghats, roads, and places of public resort maintained wholly or partly out of state funds or dedicated to the use of general public. 3. Nothing in this article shall prevent the state from making any special provision for women and children.
The Constitution also mandates the state to create special policies for the communities that are lagging behind others in terms of education, employment, and economy. The debate that is needed is about what policies are being pursued, what is their impact, and whether they are in consonance with the ideas of Dr. Ambedkar as enshrined in the Constitution or not. The BJP RSS camp can hardly claim to represent these ideas and encourage these kinds of stooges to abuse and malign the character of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, because it is intrinsically opposed to both the Constitution and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's vision of social equality and justice. Dear viewers of Jnani's World, with this we close the refutation series to Mr. Vinod String YouTube channel, videos made on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Everything is in front of you in black and white. Identify the real face of the RSS stooges who want to abuse and malign the character of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. If anyone wants to refute our videos, we welcome them to do, and kindly refute our core argument and prove the book authors whom we quote are wrong instead of us. For example, in this video we used Manusmriti with the commentary of Metatithi translated by Gangnath Jha. So now it is your duty to refute Metatithi, not us. Next, we will be doing video on Goa Inquisition, next to expose another hate monger, Shefali Vaidya. Kindly subscribe to the channel and press bell icon for further updates. Also follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Thank you.